Okay, good evening everyone, and welcome back to another week of the weekly Parsha. We're holding over here at Parshas MATOS-MASEI. It's a double Parsha this week, so we'll have a double long shir tonight. Instead of 45 an hour, it'll be 2 hours tonight, it's okay? Okay, so we're going to speak about an idea that we really spoke a lot about last week, and we want to take it now, Emes Hashem, to another level. If you recall last week, we spoke about this concept that Moshe Rabbeinu had what's called an ayin tov. He had a good eye. Although that he wasn't going to be able to go into the land of Eretz Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked him, come and cast your glance over the land. I want your bracha, your kedusha, your best wishes for the Jewish people to be implanted in Eretz Yisrael. And so Moshe Rabbeinu, he did. He looked very carefully at everything that was there. And so too, when it came time to say farewell to Klal Yisrael, he needed to leave over a new leader, and that would be Yehoshua. And it was not easy, of course, and yet Moshe Rabbeinu gave over not one hand with the bracha, but both hands, and he gave Yoser b'Yoser even more than HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked him to give. So deep was the desire for Moshe Rabbeinu to be a giver. So much was his love for every single Jew. So much that he wanted Klal Yisrael to succeed as they're going to move on to the next stage in life. Moshe didn't think about himself. He thought only about what is going to be best for Klal Yisrael, and with that ayin tov, that beautiful, good eye, that's so only good and didn't feel bad for what he was going to be lacking, he was able to give over the best to Klal Yisrael for their future. In this week's Parsha, there is a similar idea in Moshe, but I want to see what it means to be a person of ayin tov, what kind of impression it makes on the other people in this world. The Gemara says over here that Vayidaber Moshe al-Am Leimor, Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the men and he told them, Hechaltzu me'irchem anoshim latzav, you have to choose for yourself people that will go out to fight in the army against Midian. Now Rashi writes over here the following, even though that Moshe Rabbeinu knew, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him that once that Klal Yisrael is going to defeat the nation of Midian, that will signal the end of your life. So he knew that when the Jewish people will fight Midian and they will win, Moshe knows that his time is up in the midbar, in the wilderness, and he's going to pass from this world. Even though that he knew that to be true, nevertheless, also, besimcha v'lo ichar, he did everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him right now to do, besimcha, with joy, v'lo ichar, and he did not delay. That means that so much did Moshe Rabbeinu want what's best for Klal Yisrael. The best thing for the Jewish people is defeat the nation of Midian and go into Eretz Yisrael. It means, Moshe says, I'm going to die. I won't be around anymore after that battle is won. It's not about me. It's about them. And since that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that is mitzvah, that is commanding that we should go embark upon this battle, defeat the nation of Midian, and then go into Eretz Yisrael. So Moshe, although understanding that this was going to spell the end of his life, he did it besimcha v'lo ichar, and he did not delay at all, because he knew this is exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Now, what did that do for Klal Yisrael? So for Klal Yisrael, it does an amazing, amazing thing. And that is in the 5th verse of the parsha here, of this part of the parsha, it says like this. It says, Vayimasu me'alfei Yisrael, that they were delivered, Vayimasru, they were delivered almost against their will, the Jewish people. They were delivered from the thousands of Bnei Yisrael, 1,000 for each tribe, 12,000 armed for the legion, which means that Moshe Rabbeinu, he forced, so to speak, the Jewish people to gather together all of these members that would go into the battle, into the war, into the army, and they would fight against Midian. Says Rashi on these words, on this word, Vayimasru, Vayimasu doesn't mean that they just came willingly. Vayimasu means that Moshe Rabbeinu had to deliver them. He had to give them over against their will. Now, if the Jewish people knew that when they go into this battle and they win the war with Midian, that means game over in the wilderness, they're going straight into Eretz Yisrael, why were they resisting the battle? If they would call out every Jew that wants to come and beat the Midyanim, and then you're going to go into Eretz Yisrael, which has been the dream of these 40 years in the wilderness, and you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on your side, and you're the treasured nation, things are going to work out for the best. Which Jew is not going to run to be first in line at the recruitment office to be able to go and battle the Midyanim and destroy them and go into Eretz Yisrael? And yet, Rashi is pointing out over here, the word in the Torah doesn't say that they came on their own. Rather, the pasuk says over here, Vayimasru, that Moshe Rabbeinu kind of had to force them into taking this service in the army upon themselves. So listen what Rashi writes over here. And he says, Laidiacha shivchan sharaya Yisrael. It's coming to show the praise of the shepherd of Klal Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu. Kamim chavivim al Yisrael, how beloved they were to the Jewish people. Ad shelei shamu b'misasai mahu oimer. They understood that when they're going to win the battle in Midian, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to die. Oid ma'at svesakluni. Moshe Rabbeinu understood it's going to be the end. Umimashma shetfilos shemisas Moshe taliya ben nekamas Midian. Since they understood that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to die based upon the winning of the battle of Midian, they did not want to go and fight the battle until they were sent against their will. They had no choice. Says Rashi, let's understand the relationship. It's like a symbiotic relationship between Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader of Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael, the people, the nation that he took care of all of these years. Just as Moshe Rabbeinu with his ayin toiv, like we spoke about last week, was able to see the good and want only the good and bless them for the good, and appoint the leader Yoshua, and Hashem said, put one hand on him and do smicha, give all of your kedusha to him, and Moshe put both hands on top and gave even more. Just as Moshe Rabbeinu did not think about himself, what he's losing out, but rather what is Klal Yisrael gaining right now? When Klal Yisrael is now told, go and fight the battle against Midian, and then you will win, and then you will go into Eretz Yisrael, they did not come. Why did they not come running? You're waiting 40 years to go into Eretz Yisrael. Hashem says, no, I need the soldiers right now. Nobody's moving. Says Rashi, you know why they did not move? Because of their tremendous love and their respect and their adoration for Moshe Rabbeinu. And since that they knew that Moshe Rabbeinu was going to die at the time that the battle would be won with Midian, they did not rush to go and fight the war, lest they be the cause of the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu from this world. Until they were forced, then they had no choice. Moshe Rabbeinu himself came and said, it's okay. I appreciate your love of me. I appreciate you watching over me. I appreciate you caring about my life. But you count over here. You must go to Eretz Yisrael. I'm not destined to go. Let's get the show on the road, says Moshe. Start the fight, start the battle. I'll die. That's between me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You go and you fight and you go into Eretz Yisrael. So you see an amazing, amazing idea over here. And that is that if you have an ayin toiv, if you have a good eye for other people, if you want what is best for other people, if you care dearly about other people and their lives and their needs and their wants, and you are bearing their burden together with them, So then in a world, in a natural world of relationships, the way that it should work is that they will reciprocate and they will treat you in the same exact way. Moshe Rabbeinu gave over everything to Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael is sitting on the threshold, standing on the threshold of going into Eretz Yisrael after all of these years. We don't want to go. If our rushing to do the war of Midian is going to hasten the death of Moshe Rabbeinu, our leader who loves us so much, we don't want to go. Comes along Moshe and says, no, you don't have a choice, you don't understand. I appreciate how much you value me. I appreciate your love of me. I appreciate you trying to postpone my death. But you're supposed to go to Eretz Yisrael. I'm supposed to remain in the Midbar. And Klal Yisrael has to go on and build a nation in the Holy Land with the Beis HaMikdash, with Kohanim, with Leviim. You must go. So when you give the ayin toiv, when you give the good eye, and the good heart, and the good feelings to others, and this is the nation, remember, they were not known for always being the most loyal in the army of Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu. There were lots of complaints. There was lots of kvetching, as we say. Every single step of the way. Moshe, why did you do this? Moshe, why did you do this? HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have left us in Mitzrayim to die. Why? But at the end, we see the true colors of Klal Yisrael. After all the complaints, after all the rebellion, after all the fighting and the being antagonizing against Moshe Rabbeinu, at the end of the day, Moshe is the one that loves us so much. How could we hasten the end of his life? We can't. But you must know they had to deliver them, force them into going to the war, so that what? So that the battle would be won. They'll go into Eretz Yisrael. Moshe will die in the wilderness, but says Moshe, that's my cheshbon with Hashem, nothing to do with you. This is really a very famous pasuk in Mishlei. Shlomo HaMelech writes in Mishlei, it's Perek Chav Zayin, pasuk Yud Tes 27, verse 19. Kamayim, just like water, haponim laponim, a face is to a face. Just like when you look inside the water, you see your reflection of your face in the water. So kamayim, just like in water, haponim, my face, is laponim, is to my face, which means I can see the reflection of my face in the water. Kain, so too, leiv ha'adam is the heart of man, la'adam, to another man. Just like when I look inside the water, and I see my reflection in that shimmering water that is there, I can see my face, I can see my features, I can see if I'm smiling, I can see all of that. So too, says Shlomo HaMelech, leiv ha'adam, the heart of one man, la'adam is to another one. That means that just like in the water, your reflection comes back at you, when you are dealing with another person, whatever is in your heart is reflected in the heart of someone else, and what you give to them, they are going to give back to you. Says the Vilna Gaon on this pasuk, Kamay amayim, just like by water, shemarim pinei adam kefi mareu la'amayim. The water shows a person their face based upon what their face is showing to the water. Im ya'akem panav, if you have a sour face, gam hamayim yisod, that is exactly what the water is going to show to you. The mirror doesn't lie, as they say. And the water, the reflection, is a mirror. And whatever your face shows to the water is going to show that back to you. So if you're showing a sour face, you're going to receive a sour face back. If you're showing a happy face, you are going to receive a happy face back. Says the Mitzudas Dovid on this pasuk, K'may derech hamayim, just like water, marem es hapanim b'doimim la'hapanim hamistaklim ba, it reflects the face that is similar to the face that is looking at it, which means it's like a mirror. When you're looking in a mirror, you're not really looking at your face. You're looking at an image of your face in that mirror. But you know what you look like because that's what the mirror is. So the water is acting as a mirror, and it is reflecting back the face that you show. Im seichakais, if you're smiling and you're laughing, then the reflection back, what you see in the water, it will be smiling back at you as well. But if you are down in the dumps and depressed, that is the face that will shine back at you. Kain leiv ha'adam. So too is the heart of a man. Im libay toiv al chaveroim. If your heart is good with your friend, yetiv gam libay, then his heart will also be good with you. V'im ra'ah, but if your heart is bad with your friend, teira gam hi, then his heart will be bad with you as well. Says the pasuk in Mishlei, life is all about you're going to receive what you give. You're going to get back what you give out. The face that you make in the mirror is the face that you're going to receive. Unless, of course, we live in like one of these haunted houses and they have these funny mirrors that make everything distorted. You can't see anymore what your face looks like. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about looking at the water and you're making a clear image in that water. It's giving back what you see. Says the pasuk something, a very deep idea. The heart works the same exact way. My heart, what's in my heart on that person is going to feel what I feel in my heart about them, and they in turn are going to reflect back the same feeling towards me. I remember once, years ago, listening to a series of lectures on chinuch habanim, on raising children. And the person who was speaking, I forget, it was a certain rabbi, therapist, I forget who he was. And he said that when he was a bacher, when he was learning in yeshiva, so he was in a yeshiva where there was a dormitory, and he would sleep out the whole week, and he would come home on Friday afternoon for Shabbos. And he would spend Shabbos, and then whatever, Saturday night, Sunday, he would go back to the yeshiva, come back again the week. He said some weeks in yeshiva were outstanding. The learning, the friendship, the davening, the working on oneself, the challenging, overcoming nisyonos over challenges, amazing. Some weeks, I'm a human being, he said, very difficult. The learning wasn't so good, the davening wasn't so good. I failed this test and I failed that test. I came back in a bad mood. He said, but no matter how I looked, my father always gave me the same face. When I would walk in after the whole week of being away, my father would look at me with these eyes of love and endearment and excitement that I was back. He said, the moment that I would see my father's face, I knew how loved I was. And when someone knows how loved they are, what is the reaction? I'll give back that love to you. But if I come to you and you have that sour face on, you have that stern look, you look like you're annoyed and agitated with me, that's the face that you're giving me. And then you want me to comply like a little lamb. I'll be so nice. Yes, Abba, yes, Tati, yes, dear, whatever you say. It doesn't work like that, says Shlomo Melech. The face that you make to somebody else, which your heart is what is pushing that face and those emotions. So that's what I'm going to give back to you. You want me to love you? Then I need to see that you love me. You want me to care about you? Then I need to see that you care about me. You want me to worry about you? Then I need to see that you worry about me. You want me to respect you? Then I need to see that you respect me. And as long as I see that on your face, which is being generated by the powers that are there inside of your lave, your heart, then the lave of one man will reflect the heart of the other one. And therefore what you do to me, I will now in turn, I will give that back to you. This is a very powerful message that Shlomo Melech is giving. There's a Maisa story that took place probably 150 years ago at least. Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zannenfeld, who was eventually the main Rav of Yerushalayim, he started off in Europe and he told over the following story. There was a town in Poland called Shadik. And in Shadik there was a person who was what's called a Moiser. A Moiser is not a good name, is not a good title to have. Moiser literally means to give over. He's a Jew that gives over, turns over other Jews to the government of that city, of that country where they live. So Russia is a wicked person to do such a thing. We excommunicate them, we don't count them in minyanim, we get rid of them. We don't want people like that around. A Jew does something wrong, and another Jew goes and he turns them in, a moiser, to do such a thing, terrible. There's no portion waiting for that person in the world to come. So this person, let's call him Mordechai. Mordechai was the moiser, he was the person that would give over, turn over the Jews to the government. And everybody was afraid of him. Because if you did the wrong thing, if you stepped out of line, if you got on his bad side, and he was somewhat of a wealthy fellow over here, you got on his bad side, he was bound to take you to the government, turn you in, and you could be behind bars the rest of your life. So once a man enters the home of the Rav of that town, and he's covered in broken eggshells. He's a mess, he's filthy, dripping with eggs. And the Rav says, what happened to you? Why are you so dirty? What happened to you? So he says, I was returning home with a basket of eggs, and I was going to sell it to the Moiser, to Mordechai over here, the informer. And because he demanded me that I bring him the eggs, and when I brought him the eggs and I asked for payment, he smashed all the eggs on my head, and he refused to pay me. So I'm coming to the Rav to ask, what am I supposed to do right now? I just incurred a tremendous loss of money. So the Rav was very upset, and he sent his shamish, his gabbai, to go and retrieve Mordechai the Moiser, and he refused to come to the Rav. That's 2 strikes already. If the rabbi of the town orders you to come to him because he needs to speak to you, you go. He said, no, I'm not coming. Okay? He didn't want to come to the Beis Din. He didn't want to come and work this out. The Rav was very disappointed. Now every Shabbos, this Moiser, this person who was the informer, he davened in the main shul in Shadik in town. And he was such an influential person, and everybody was so afraid of him. Every single Shabbos, he received Shishi, the 6th Aliyah to the Torah. So how does it work in a shul? It depends exactly where you are. In many places, Shlishi, the 3rd one, is reserved for the rabbi. Shishi in the more Hasidic world, and even in the Litvish world, Shishi is another Chasheva one. So this man, the Moiser, Mordechai the Moiser, every single week in shul, because of all the fear that he instilled on the tzibur, on the people, he would always get the 6th aliyah. Comes this Shabbos, after he broke the eggs on this man's face, and after he refused to come to the Rav in the Beis Din to try the case, he gets called up for shishi, as is the custom in that shul. The Rav gets up from his seat, and he walks over to the bima where the Moiser is about to say the bracha, and he says, shame on you. A man who refuses to come to the Beis Din when he is summoned, and you have the audacity to come and take an aliyah in this shul, shame on you. In front of the entire town. The Moiser got so embarrassed from the rabbi's words, he ran off the beam, he ran out of the shul. But as he was running, he said, "You will get the worst. You will get my wrath." The Rav paid no attention. Shabbos comes and goes. The next day, the Rav is traveling with his Talmidim, with his students. And they're traveling through the woods. And suddenly they realize that they're being followed. And they turn around and they look, and who, lo and behold, is coming behind them in the forest? Mordechai the Moiser. And he has plans. Who does he have plans? He has plans to come and beat these people up. And the students say to the Rav, Mordechai the Moiser is here. He's on our trail. He's going to get us. And the Rav stops. And he starts thinking very, very deeply, for quite a few minutes, deep into thought. And then as he opens his eyes, the Moiser is standing right in front of him. And he says, "Rabbi, I just came to pay you back for what you did to me in shul over there." He says, "I want to hit your students." He says, "Don't you dare." He says, "Okay, let me just hit one of them." "Don't you dare." He says, "Please, Rav, could I do something? Could I at least spit in front of them?" He says, "You will do nothing of the like." And suddenly, as if in a trance, Mordechai the Moiser begins apologizing profusely to the rabbi. "Please forgive me. I was out of line. I never should have done what I did. I'm so sorry. How can I make it up?" And the rabbi says, "When you pay the man for the broken eggs that you broke on his head, and you will go and be mafayis him, you will appease him, and you will apologize for what you have done, then I will make sure that you are not excommunicated, and you will be forgiven 100% for what you have done wrong." So he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out 10 rubles, and he says, "Please, here's the money for the eggs." It was much more than the eggs were. And he said, "I will go now, and I will apologize. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, forgive me, forgive me." And the Rav said, "You're forgiven." And Mordechai the Moiser ran away, a humbled human being. So the Talmidim said, the students said to the Rav, "We don't understand. What was going on over there? He was ready to come and attack us, to pummel us. You, our great rabbi, you stood there for a few minutes and you just thought seriously, and then suddenly he melts like putty in your hands, and he's apologizing, he's saying he's sorry, he'll never do it again. What happened?" So listen to what the Rav said. He said, "I realized that if the Moiser was so angry at me, that he wants to come and attack us, and hit us and hurt us, it must be because he knows that I'm angry at him. Like Shlomo HaMelech says, Kamayim haponim laponim. Water reflects the face to a face. Kein leiv ha'adam la'adam. So to the heart of one man to another man." He must have known that in my heart I was harboring anger against him, and therefore he was acting towards me. So what was I doing? I was trying to find merits for him. I was trying to think to myself, how could it be that a Jew could become such a moiser, such a wicked person, handing over other Jews to the government, breaking eggs, acting in such ridiculous ways? And I began to think to myself, probably when he was younger, he probably hung out with the wrong people, the wrong crowd, and had a very negative impact on him. And maybe he's not really responsible for the things that he did. And then I thought to myself, why did he get so angry with the egg seller and break the eggs on him? Maybe he was going to pay him. But the egg seller was demanding the money, so he got angry. And so what did he do? He reacted in the wrong way. He broke the eggs on his head. And then I thought to myself, there's a real spark of Kedusha in this man. Even though he's a moiser and he gives over people to the government, and even though he allows his fear on people, but when I screamed at him in front of the entire congregation, he didn't slap me. He didn't get angry with me. He didn't spit at me. He got embarrassed. Busha, shame, is a sign of a Jew. He got embarrassed and he ran away. And then when he was here in the forest and he wanted to come and get us, and so easily he was able to stop and grovel and say that he's sorry, I realized that because in my heart, I found the good in him. In my heart, I wanted to take care of him. I wanted to give to him. So his heart began to reflect the same exact thing. And that's why things happened the way that they did. So the student said, Rav, if that's the case, why did he still want to spit at us? He said, because in your hearts, you still have hatred and anger towards him. And he feels that. That's the way that it works in this world. What you give out is what you're going to get back. You give out love, you're going to get back love. You give out kindness, you're going to get back kindness. You give out care and concern, and you're noise ba'olim chaver, you can bear the burden that that person is going through together with them. That's what you're going to receive back in response, in return. However, if you're looking at somebody with a nasty face, and you have anger with them, and you're bothered by them, and you're annoyed by them, you think they don't feel it, they feel everything. And that's what you're going to get back from them. You're going to get an aggravating, nasty, mean person who's going to treat you the way that they feel that you are treating them. But I want to share with you a chiddush that I was thinking about with this pasuk. What's the mashal that Shlomo Melech is saying? Kamayim panim hapanim lapanim. Like water is the face to the face, which means my face is looking in the water, and the water is reflecting back my face. So I'm looking at myself. Says the Metzudas Dovid, you smile, your face is going to smile back at you. You're sad, your face will be sad at you. You make funny movements, and you can have funny movements moving back at you. But it's you that is creating all of that. Says Shlomo Melech, Cain, so too, Leiv ha'adam la'adam, is the heart of one man to another man. Now how does that work? When it comes to the water, it's my face that's making the reflection of my face. I'm seeing myself. My heart is going and seeing the heart of another man, and his heart now is coming back towards me. It sounds to me that Shlomo Melech is saying the following, is that when you are giving over your heart so much to another person, and they feel your heart, so those hearts become almost like one, and he now is reflecting back your heart, which is becoming his heart, to you. Which means in the world of achdus, in the world of unity, which is what this whole time of the year is all about, Klal Yisrael becoming one, we literally become one. That means that my heart and your heart, they fuse together as one. What's in my heart is in your heart. What's in your heart is in my heart. The love that I have of you, you can feel it in your heart and you can give it back. And the love can be from your heart into mine. My chesed, my mercy, my kindness, my caring about you, that's in my heart. I'll give it all over to you. You in turn, you will reflect that and you will give that over to me. The Yidden in the Midbar, they saw from Moshe Rabbeinu that Moshe Rabbeinu cared so much about them that at the end of his life, when he knows that he's leaving, he's no longer going to be here, it didn't stop him 1 second from giving over everything he had to them. He gave over the best glance of Eretz Yisrael. He gave over the best bracha to Yeshua. And when he knew that he's going to die with the war of Midian, he did not delay. He did it b'simcha, with joy, because that's what's best for Klal Yisrael. How does Klal Yisrael respond? They respond that when they are told, go and fight the Midyanim, win the battle, go to Eretz Yisrael, they don't respond. They don't jump up. They don't go to the recruitment office. They don't go get their uniforms and start getting dressed and getting all the weapons. No. Because they said, wait a second, Moshe, who did everything for us, he's going to die when we win the battle. How could we hasten the death of Moshe Rabbeinu? They said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know what? Maybe you'll find somebody else to go to war, not us. And Moshe Rabbeinu, he came and he told them, you got to go. I appreciate how you care about me. And they say, Moshe, it's because how you care about us. I know. But because that I care about you so much, I want you to finally go where you belong, in Eretz Yisrael. So hasten the war, take on the mission, go and fight the battle. Yeah, I'll be left over here in the midbar, in the wilderness, I'll die over here on the mountain. Don't worry about me, says Moshe. My job is to take care of you. Your job is to take care of yourselves. Go and fight the battle. Take the Ayin Tov with you. And remember, the way that you look at another person, that is the way that they're going to look at you. We always speak about this time of the year that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of sinas chinam, because of senseless hatred. You know what senseless hatred means? It means when I hate somebody for no reason at all. Chinam means for no reason. I hate another person for no reason. I can hate a person just for the way that they look at me. I can hate a person just for the way that they look. You know, this guy dresses funny. He laughs funny. I remember when I was in the world of shidduchim and I was trying to get married. So in the olden days, I don't know how everything works today. I don't know, probably everything is on Zoom these days. I don't know what goes on today. But it used to be that you would say yes to a girl, she would say yes to you, and then you'd have a phone conversation to set up the date. So you'd get on the phone with someone, a stranger, you'd never spoke to her before, and we were bachim and she wouldn't speak to girls, so you're getting on the phone, everything's like very uncomfortable, and then you're talking and you have a 10-minute conversation maximum, and then you set the date, okay, I'm going to come, I'll pick you up, here's the address, fine, okay. Sometimes on the phone conversation, the girl would have a very annoying laugh. Very annoying. And I would think to myself, am I going to have to listen to that laugh for the rest of my life? This shidduch is not going to work. But I already said yes. So I got to drive all the way to New York to find out that the laugh that I'm not going to... And sure enough, I'm not bli guzma, without any exaggeration over here. Every single first conversation where I would hear something that I didn't particularly like so much, even though I go out with the girl 4, 5, 6 times, usually I would end up calling things off because of that initial conversation that was there. Is that fair? I'm not saying it's fair. It's not fair. It's a reality. That's the way that a person works. And therefore you see somebody that dresses funny, they act funny, they daven funny. I remember I was once in a shul in Yerushalayim years and years and years ago. I was working on my davening. And so I got into this whole thing where I would just go like this all the time. I thought that's how you have to talk to Hashem. So I once, in the very holy shul in Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh, and I'm doing my whole shtick, like this, like this. I open my eyes and there's these 2 little kids standing at the desk and they're laughing their head off, laughing at me. And I remember thinking, what's wrong with these little kids over here? Don't they see what it's tzaddik I am, how I'm davening to Hashem? And then I realized I look like a fool. Who's davening like this? You don't have to daven like that. Hashem understands when you talk to Him. Hashem understands when you make a little gesture like this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu understands. But that's the way that we work in this world. We see someone that seems to be strange to us, already our face is looking at them weird. When you make that face, you think the person doesn't feel it? You think the person doesn't know? A Jew has to work on the poker face. The poker face is a person can be off the wall. A person can be annoying. A person can be disappointing. A person can be aggravating. My face, totally calm. That's so nice. Panim al panim. The way that I look towards someone else, that is the way they're going to look towards me. You have a spouse? What, all of your spouses are perfect? I'm sure not, because we're also not perfect spouses. So they do something that disappoints us. What kind of a face do we make? The angry face? The disappointed face? The sour face? And then we don't understand, why does she scream and yell at me so much? Why does she nag at me so much? I don't understand. Because the way that you look towards her is the way that she's going to look towards you. And so too is with our children. The way that we look at our children, and the faces that we make at our children, and the tone of voice that we use with our children, says Shalom Melech Kein Leiv Ha'adam La'adam. That is the heart that is going to be reflected back to us. Every parent thinks that from the time that their kids are like 1.5 years old, they can handle a 10-minute Musar drasha every time they do something wrong. The kid threw his churros on the floor. Do you know what it means to throw churros on the floor? And you start giving this kid a Musar shmooze about wasting food and about having good meters and eating like a bench. No. Kids don't understand any of that. They don't understand a single thing. They don't understand Musar. They don't understand what it means to be a mensch. They understand one thing: hungry, Cheerios, throw on the floor, make a mess, it's fun. That's what they understand. So now you're a parent, your kid is 1.5 years old, and you're making a stern face. And then you want the kid to be loving and sweet and warm. It doesn't work like that. If you show a face of love, a heart of love, of understanding, of embracing, of accepting, of patience, that is the child that you're going to raise to look back at you like that as well. Says Shlomo HaMelech, Kamayim haponim laponim, just like the water reflects our face, our heart reflects the heart of another person as well. What you give, you're going to receive. What you give out, you're going to get back. Moshe Rabbeinu, at the end of his life, he was zeicher to see how Klal Yisrael really felt about him. After 40 years of complaints, and 40 years of rebellion, and 40 years of whining, and 40 years of telling Hashem, what is this? You brought him to bring us into the desert to kill us. What do we need all this for? At the end, Moshe Rabbeinu saw, after all that I did, all of the heart, all the love, all the endearment, all the patience that I had with them, they're giving it right back to me. And they say, Moshe, we can't go out to battle right now, because if we do, you're going to die. We don't want you to die. And Moshe said, I appreciate it, but your job is to go out to battle. He took them, and he forced them, and he said, go fight the war, win the battle, go into Eretz Yisrael. I'll stay here, as HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded. I want to leave you on with a Maisa. It's a story that I heard a few years ago. Very deep, how the way in which one treats another person and looks at another person and feels for another person, how much it comes back towards them. There was a family somewhere in New York, I believe, who had a son, Rahman al-Litzlan, who went far, far, far off the derech of Yiddishkeit. He was already a teenager, and he left the pathways, Shabbos and Kashrus, Tefillin. He left it all behind, and he was getting into very bad things, alcohol and drugs and bad friends, and you name it, this kid was into everything. And the family was besides themselves, you could only imagine. And they needed a lot of intervention, how to be able to deal with their son. They're a frum family, and that one son is off the rails, as they say, completely off the wall of Judaism. What are they going to do? Throw him out of the house? What do they reprimand him every time he does the wrong thing? Should they spank him, get out the belt? What do they do with this boy? So they went to a Yid by the name of Avi Fishov, who very much deals with these extreme cases of children off the derech, and his approach is, you just got to love him. You got to do everything you can do to create the bonds of love between you and this child. That's all that he has in this world. He doesn't have anything else. Drugs, empty. Alcohol, empty. His friends, they're terrible. One day, Be'ez Hashem, after he hits rock bottom and sees nothing in the world is worth anything, because you kept showing him the face and the heart of love, you're going to be able to bring him back. So the father was an ultra-Orthodox Jew, And he went way beyond his comfort level to do many things with his son that probably he would never ever do before, going places and doing things, having a blast, having a good time. And whenever they would go places, like one of the big things was, in the generation of selfies, they would always take selfies. And it would always be, the father would always put his arm around his son, they have big smiles on their face, they just went skydiving, they just went mountain climbing, they just went whatever to play arcades, they went to a fancy, whatever, they always with the arm around, smiling, selfie. This kid was going down and down and down. And one day he decides, I can't take it anymore. I'm finished. And he ended up getting a box of pills. And if he's going to take the 20 pills that are in this bottle, he's going to take his life. And he thought long and hard about it, and he decided, you know what? I don't have a choice anymore. My life is meaningless. Meaningless. And so he begins taking the pills. He gets a glass of water from downstairs. He goes up to his bedroom and he starts popping the pills. 1 glass of water, 2 gulp of water, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pills. He takes 10 pills. And he looks at his glass, the glass is empty. It's not one of those half-full stories. The glass is empty. Hashgacha, the glass is empty. He has to take a break from killing himself. He goes downstairs. Takes time to go downstairs. He fills up his glass with water. And he's walking himself back up the stairs. And he's already getting ready to pop the next 10 pills. And he takes a sip, another one, another one, another one. He gets up to about 18 pills. And suddenly his phone rings in the middle of his tragic passing from this world. What a bad time for someone to call as he's taking his life. The phone rings. And he glances at the phone. And you know how most of us, we have, when somebody calls, very often someone that is significant, we have a picture of that person on the phone so that we know who it is. And the phone rings, and who is it? Lo and behold, his father. And what is the picture that comes up when his father calls? One of those selfies with his father's arm around his son's shoulder, and the two of them smiling together. And as he's looking at the picture of his father and himself smiling, and he's taken 18 pills already, enough to kill him, he thinks to himself, how could I do this to my father who loves me, who cares about me, who's been with me, who's taking care of me all of this time? How can I do this to my father? And he answers the phone, Abba, Tati, yes, please call Hatzalah immediately. I just took 18 pills, I'm going to die, please call Hatzalah quickly. I don't want to die, please. His father calls Hatzalah, they run to the house, Hatzalah gets him, they begin pumping his stomach, they rush in the hospital, and his life is saved. And he goes on to talk about it and to tell about it. Why? Because Kamayim Haponim Laponim, just like in water, the face is reflected back to your face. You see, if you're smiling in your water, your face will be smiling. If your face is down and depressed, you'll get back a reflection of depression. If you're goofy, it's going to look goofy. If you're excited, it's going to look excited. If you're jumping up and down, it'll jump up and down. Chen leiv ha'adam le'adam, so too is the heart of one person to another. What's in your heart is going to go into the heart of another, and they're going to reflect that back to you. During this time of the year, we must, to the best of our abilities, even though that it's hard, maybe you have to find one relationship that you have that you know that you make the wrong face way too many times. It's a wife, it's a child, it's a friend, it's a guy in shul, it's someone that's in your office, whatever it is. Pick one person that you make the wrong face with. And during these 3 weeks, whatever we have left, 10 days, change the way that you look at them. Look at them the way you would want them to look at you. Show them love. Show them care. Show them acceptance. Show them patience. Show them a smile. Show them something good. And then, leiv ha'adam la'adam, they will return that to you. May we be zeichem yetz Hashem that with our hard work during this time of the year, where we improve and increase and elevate our facial features and our expressions to be people that are looking at one another in the right way, not in the wrong way. May that affect the greatest panim of all, and that is the face of the Ribono Shel Olam. Just as we look towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu with ava, with real love and real care and real concern, and we are in pain over the fact that the Shekhinah is wandering around the world for 2,000 years already. So the way that we look towards Hashem, that is the way that He will look towards us. And in that sechus, in Yetz Hashem, we will be zeiche to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu how much we love Him. Hashem will show us how much He loves us. With the building of the Bayis Shlishi, the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, B'mheira v'yameinu. Shkayach everyone. Thank you for coming.